Nonverbal communication, body language, and gestures. Nonverbal communication. Interpersonal communication not only involves the explicit meaning of words and the information or message conveyed, but also refers to implicit messages, whether intentional or not, which are expressed through nonverbal cues. Nonverbal communication includes facial expressions, the tone and pitch of the voice, gestures displayed through body language or kinesics, and the physical distance between the communicators or proxemics. Nonverbal signals can give one clues and additional information about the person you are communicating with. Improving your nonverbal skills and reading body language. It's a well-known fact that good communication is the foundation stone of any successful relationship, be it personal or professional. It's important to recognize the fact that our nonverbal messages, which include our facial expressions, eye movements, posture, and tone of voice, speak the loudest. The ability to understand and use nonverbal communication or body language will give you a distinct edge, as it is a powerful tool that can help you connect with others, express what you really mean, and build better relationships. What is nonverbal communication and body language? When we interact with others, we give and receive mind signals continuously. All the facets of our nonverbal behavior, the gestures we make, the way we sit, how fast or how loudly we speak, how we understand, the proximity we maintain, how much eye contact we make, send strong messages. These messages don't stop when you stop speaking either. Even when you're silent, you continue to communicate non-verbally. The signals we transmit through the spoken word and what we communicate through our body language depict two completely different personalities at times. What you might be able to camouflage in a conversation as a good speaker will be clearly visible if you cannot conceal your emotions. When faced with these mixed signals, the listener has to choose between your verbal and non-verbal message, and in most cases, the people you communicate with will choose the non-verbal version that your body language conveys. This is because it's a natural unconscious language that expresses what we are rather than who we try to emulate. Verbal communication can be a facade, but non-verbal communication is what you are measured with. Why non-verbal communication matters. Your invisible physical responses to a conversation, the way you maintain or refrain from eye contact, move and react to interactions convey the following messages. Are you being truthful? Are you being honest about your views? And are you following the conversation without resentment? When your nonverbal gestures and your conversations correspond, they increase trust, clarity, and rapport. When they don't, they generate tension, mistrust, and confusion. In order to become a better communicator, it's important to become more sensitive not only to the body language and nonverbal cues of others, but also to your own. Nonverbal communication cues can play some important roles. Repetition. They complement the verbal message unless the speaker's body language contradicts his dialogue. Substitution. They can substitute a verbal message. For example, a person's eyes can often convey a far more vivid message than a long-drawn conversation can. Complimenting. They may add to or complement a verbal message. A boss who pats a person on the back in addition to a commendation can increase the impact of the message. Accenting. They may accent or underline a verbal message. Pounding the table, for example, can underline a message and send a negative signal. You may have come across advice on numerous forums and workshops on how to put on an act to appear more confident or assert dominance. But the truth is that such tricks never work in real-life situations. Unless you are really confident, you cannot be in charge of your emotions and thus cannot project the correct signals. Corporate professionals are not professional actors. In real-life situations, neither is the interaction scripted nor is there a chance of a retake. Unconsciously, your body continuously sends signals that might be completely contradictory to what you are trying to project artificially. Your thoughts and sentiments can seldom be camouflaged, and the harder you try, the more artificial your signals are likely to come across. Types of nonverbal communication and body language. Body movements or kinesics. Body movements include gestures, posture, head and hand movements, or whole body movements. Body movements can be used to reinforce or emphasize what a person is saying and also offer information about the emotions and attitude of a person. However, it is also possible for body movements to conflict with what is being said. A skilled observer may be able to detect such discrepancies in behavior and use them as a clue to the true sentiments of a person. A great deal of research has been committed to identifying the different categories of body movements that are mentioned below, with each category describing the purpose they commonly serve. Gestures. Gestures are woven into the fabric of our daily lives. We wave, point, beckon, and use our hands when we are arguing or speaking animatedly, expressing ourselves through gestures often unconsciously. However, the meaning of gestures can vary across cultures and regions, so it's important to be careful and understand cultural prejudices to avoid misinterpretation. Emblems. Gestures that serve the same function as a word are called emblems. For example, the signals that mean "okay, come here," or the hand movement used when hitchhiking. However, be aware that while some emblems are internationally recognized, others may need to be interpreted in their cultural context. Emblematical nonverbal displays are the most commonly used form of communication throughout the world. Illustrators. Gestures which accompany words to illustrate a verbal message are known as illustrators. For example, the common circular hand movement which accompanies the phrase over and over again, or nodding the head in a particular direction when saying "over there." Affected displays. These are facial expressions or gestures which show the emotions we feel. These are often unintentional and can conflict with what is being said. Such expressions give strong clues about the true emotional state of a person. Regulators. Gestures used to convey feedback when conversing are called regulators. For example, head nods, short sounds such as "uh-huh," "hmm," and expressions of interest or boredom. Regulators allow the other person to adapt his or her speech to reflect the level of interest or agreement. Without receiving feedback, many people find it difficult to maintain a conversation. Adapters. Nonverbal behaviors which either satisfy some physical need, such as scratching the scalp or adjusting uncomfortable glasses, or represent a psychological need, such as biting fingernails when nervous. Although normally subconscious, adapters are more likely to be restrained in public places. Adaptive behaviors often accompany feelings of anxiety or hostility. Posture. Posture can reflect people's emotions, attitudes, and intentions. Research has identified a wide range of postural signals and their meanings, such as open and closed posture. Two forms of posture have been identified, open and closed, which may reflect an individual's degree of confidence, status, or receptivity to another person. Someone seated in a closed position might have his or her arms folded, legs crossed, or be positioned at a slight angle from the person with whom they are interacting. In an open posture, you might expect to see someone directly facing you with hands resting on the armrest of the chair. An open posture can be used to communicate openness or interest in someone and a willingness to listen, whereas the closed posture might imply discomfort or disinterest. Mirroring. Notice the way a doting couple relate to each other. You will often observe this within your own social circle. You will see that the partner's postures will match, as if one partner is a mirror reflection of the other. For example, if one partner drapes an arm over the back of a chair, this might be replicated by the other person. If one partner frowns, it could be reflected in the other partner's facial expression. This mirroring indicates interest and approval between people and serves to reassure others of interest in them and what they are saying. Body movements and posture. Consider how your perceptions of people are affected by the way they sit, walk, stand up, or hold their head. The way you move and carry yourself communicates a wealth of information to the world. This type of nonverbal communication includes your posture, bearing, stance, and other subtle movements. Eye contact. Since the visual sense is dominant for most people, eye contact is an especially important type of nonverbal communication. The way you look at someone can communicate many things, including interest, affection, hostility, or attraction. Eye contact is also important in maintaining the flow of conversation and for gauging the other person's response. In interpersonal interaction, eye contact serves three main purposes: to provide and receive feedback. Looking at someone lets them know that the receiver is concentrating on the content of their speech. Not maintaining eye contact can indicate disinterest. Eye contact can also be an affirmative cue in a group conversation to let your conversational partners know when it is their turn to speak. Eye contact is more likely to be continuous when someone is listening rather than when speaking. When a person has concluded what they have to say, they will look directly at the other person, and this gives a signal that the arena is open. If someone does not want to be interrupted, eye contact may be avoided.